Welcome to this week's homecoming press conference. The football team plays at 1 p.m. against Austin College. The Warhawks come in 1-3 off a bye week, looking to make it 2-3 this week. Obviously, it's homecoming, a lot going on. I'm sure Coach will have some things to say about that. Introducing our players, to my immediate right is junior safety Brenden Torrence. And then over on the other side of Coach Jordan Neal is Vern Angton. He is a sophomore offensive guard. Start with Coach, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, it's great to be back. Excited about being back in the swing of things with a regular week of practice. We were very excited about having a bye week when we did. I think it came at a good time for our team. I know every team in our league had a bye week this past week, so everybody was able to take advantage of that. But we were able to get some guys healthy and have a couple of extra practices to get prepared for Austin College, and we're just excited about homecoming and everything that comes with that. Seeing a lot of old faces and people that will be coming back to campus, and I feel really confident with the way our guys have prepared themselves and have practiced hard and stayed on board with us and continue to get better. So I'm excited about us getting out there and putting our best foot forward and playing our game. Austin College is a good team and well coached, and their coaching staff has been together for a long time, so we're expecting to get everything that they can give us and their absolute best ball game. So excited to be back and just appreciate it.
Just coming into this one, a lot of teams are kind of bunched up in the standings at 1-3. Just kind of how important is it to start the second half of the season and maybe get some separation and get into that middle of the pack and try and push it forward?
Yeah, I think in some ways it's kind of like it's the beginning of a new season. We've obviously played only conference games, but like you said, there's definitely a pack of teams that are all kind of right there. And in a lot of ways, this is kind of a separation Saturday, and we've always said that we want to get out and we want to compete to win every ball game. Obviously we'd like to have the Howard Payne game back. We'd like to have the ETBU game back, and we got that win on the board against Southwestern, and we felt like we gave ourselves every opportunity against Hardin-Simmons, even as good as those programs are. But at this point in time, we feel like we're poised to get on a really good run here and a really good stretch. And the only way you can, put a streak together is by getting that first one on the board. And I think if we can do that this week and do it in a confident manner and do it, in all three phases like we're capable, I think that's going to do a lot for us, moving forward. But we got to focus on this one and do everything it takes to try to be ringing the bell at the end of the day on Saturday.
You say you need you're glad to have an extra week for Austin College. Do they do something different on offense or defense that gives you a different look as opposed to what other teams are doing?
Yeah, they actually do. They're similar to Belhaven in that they're going to play with some tight ends and some fullbacks. They've got some shifts and motions which we've been very well versed on. They'll shift and then they'll motion. Sometimes they'll shift twice and motion. They'll do it with receivers. They'll do it with the backfield. They'll actually get under center and boot, waggle, kind of play action. So it's almost looks like football from 2 decades ago, like what I was used to playing. So that's a little bit of a different deal. They will spread it out, when they feel like that's what they want to try to do. And I think they're one of those teams that's going to kind of try to poke and prod and figure out what they can have some success with, and then try to hang their hat on it. Coach Dawson, their head coach, is an offensive guy, and he's really a brilliant coach. So he'll have something cooked up for us, probably something that we haven't seen yet on film because they've had 2 weeks to prepare for us. And we'll kind of return the favor in that regard. Defensively, Coach Silva, their DC, has been there a long time. I don't know if they've been in the same base look on any given game that I've gone against them, which just shows that they can adapt to their personnel and they can show up and they can try to give you maybe something that you haven't seen before. But that just means that we've got to be all the more prepared for anything that we see.
When you look at it, maybe the Southwestern game, but you guys are about to hit a stretch of games where maybe you're favored, maybe you're expected to win, which hasn't necessarily been a thing around here for a while.
Yeah.
how do you kind of handle that mentally with the guys that there are some expectations that I know have been there in the locker room, have been there in the program, but now some outside people are going to be expecting some things too.
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right, Jordan. You know, you'd be blind or you'd be naive to not take notice of those things. I mean, we're favored to win this game, but I think the way you handle that, the way you deal with that is, number one, you don't talk about it. We're treating Austin College just like we treated Hardin-Simmons 2 weeks ago, and you know, Southwestern the week before that, UTV before them, and Howard Payne before them. And it sounds cliche, and it sounds, you know, kind of redundant and a little bit trite, but it's true. I mean, any team in our conference can sneak up and beat anybody on any given day. It's just that simple, and that speaks to the strength of our league. And you know that you've got to come correct every Saturday, because if you don't, then the narrative shifts from, well, that's one that got away from us, and if we'd have made this play, or if we'd have made that play, or this adjustment or that adjustment, then we wouldn't be in this situation right here. So that's what we've tried to impress upon our guys, that yeah, maybe on paper we're supposed to go win this game, but it doesn't win itself. So from a practical standpoint, every day in practice, we've still conditioned hard. We've tackled to the ground. We've practiced physically. You know, we've never backed off on our standards about, you know, being on time to meetings and taking care of your classwork and doing what you're supposed to be doing, because I think the body of work and the collective effort that you put in, you know, day to day is what gives you the opportunity to expect to win, and the opportunity to say, well, this is a ball game that we should win. But even then, you know, you see it. Heck, Alabama, you know, you know, they're supposed to win every game, and A&M got it last weekend. You know, the number one team in the country, and A&M, a team that had lost to Arkansas previous to that. I mean, there's a lot of those comparisons that can be made. But the truth of the matter is, you have to do what it takes, and you got to make the plays that day too. And so, you know, our guys feel it. Our guys know. Our coaches know that we're more confident than we've ever been. We're bigger, we're faster, we're stronger, we're more experienced than we've ever been. But I think the best news of all for us is that we've still got a lot of runway left to land on. We feel like we are not even close to being as good as we can be as we continue to grow and just continue to gel and mesh together as a team.
And then just for the guys, I mean, what does it mean? You know, Coach just talked about not letting you get too focused on it, but to go into some games now where you really feel like, hey, we've put ourselves in a position where we are favored, we can win this game, instead of wouldn't it be fun if? Yeah. You know, what does that do on a Saturday afternoon when you step out on that field with a really true belief and some stuff to back it up that you guys can go out there and win?
It gives us confidence. You know, the last HSU game gave us confidence this whole season. We feel like we played the hardest teams first, but we still got to respect these teams as if we're playing top team in the nation.
Basically picking up what he said, we can't back off at any opponent, whether how great they are or how not great they are. We just got to go in every week and treat everybody the same. Just play our game.
And then, Coach, maybe how important is it to kind of keep that chip on the shoulder, that kind of underdog mentality and everything, even when, you know, some things might say you guys aren't an underdog anymore in a few of these weeks?
Well, first and foremost, we have not earned the right, and nor would I ever want us to feel like we're not the underdogs. I mean, these guys, and they're just representatives right now. They're an extension of really the way our whole locker room and our whole team is. These guys have a tenacity and a hunger and an intense desire to go out there and prove people wrong, you know. And I think. And this is no disrespect to Austin College or anybody that may be on our schedule, but for us, especially this coming Saturday, it's not going to be good enough just to go out there and have more points at the end of the game. I mean, heck, a couple weeks ago, whenever we got that win against Southwestern, our guys, as exciting as that is, we were disappointed that we could have played much better. You know, we could have done some things to capitalize and make that a blowout. And so you're excited and you celebrate the fact that that's a win on the board, but you also, you know, have a sense of, man, we still got a lot to prove. And then what's ironic about that is it's kind of reversed against Hardin-Simmons a couple weeks ago. We don't come away with the win. We're celebrating the fact that we did a lot of good things and we were much more competitive than we've ever been. But there's also that sense of, man, I'm disappointed because we didn't get the result we wanted, and we felt like there were plays that were there for the making and for the taking that we missed out on. So that's that, like, there's friction there, but that's kind of a space that you want to exist in, that you're confident, you're excited about what you've done, but you're never anywhere close to being satisfied. And I think our guys are in a sweet spot right there. The chip is not going to be coming off the shoulder anytime soon.
With everybody having an open week, how much does that change what you might normally do with an open week, knowing that the team you're playing had that same time, that maybe whereas you might take a full week to just work on you and then normal game week, knowing that they have 2 weeks. Is that weird the way the conference kind of went to that schedule this year?
Yeah, well, it's definitely new. I know that the coaches unanimously agree that this is like the best way to do it because you feel like you have a halftime in the middle of the season where you can make adjustments. You can do some in-house, some quality control and say, all right, offensively, this is what we've done, and this is what we feel like we need to improve on. These are some of our strengths. And that should inform what you're going to do kind of over the next course, half of the season. Same thing on defense, same thing in the kicking game. It allows you to recruit. It allows you to run errands, and heck, I still got to get my taxes paid, so that's pretty convenient. But no, you have to know that your opponent is thinking the same thing. And whatever they've done well, you can expect them more often than not to want to, to highlight that and to keep that in their quiver, but also expect them to expand on those things and maybe back off of some areas where they were vulnerable or they showed some weakness. And we've done the same thing, but I think it allows you to give some more looks on offense. We'll have some new formations and some new plays that we're in, but now we've had a chance to really practice them and rehearse them against what we think we're going to see. So you love that as a coach. If I had my way, we'd have 2 weeks to prepare for every game. But yeah, I've just been proud of the way our guys have continued to work and continue to get better. That's the biggest thing that we're after.
Well, guys, just what's it like playing on homecoming? I know, there wasn't that last year with fall not being there, but to know that there are some guys that wore that jersey before you, whether it was in some of the lean times or in some of the good times, to know that you're kind of playing for them a little bit too.
Right. It's definitely an honor to play for this traditional school. Yeah, that's all I got to say. I can't wait for the energy.
I was going into it like it's another game, but I'm also as Torrence said, it's kind of an honor playing for them too. Just kind of like carrying on a legacy, if you will.
Coach, you've been a part of a lot of homecomings. You've been at a lot of different schools, seen what a lot of people have done. But has your message changed over time since your coaching career? From the first time you had to deal with a homecoming till now, and the distractions that may come with it.
It's funny you ask because my first experience college homecoming was as a freshman, under Coach Keeling, and I remember him really honing in that week and talking to us about how important it was to stay focused and not be distracted by all the things that were going on for homecoming. And I really was naive about it. I didn't understand what he meant by that because I had never experienced it. And then sure enough, Thursday and Friday and then eventually Saturday rolled around and there was just a lot more people. And there was just events going on everywhere you looked. There were people in suits and ties, and you just almost felt like there was just a different atmosphere. There was a different energy, and I started to understand what he meant. That hey, there's a lot of side shows, and it's awesome, and nobody does it better than McMurry. And but there are ways that in some ways, I almost prefer playing on the road because you have no distractions. When you got the guys, sequestered in a hotel, and you can kind of map out every moment of their day for the entire time, and you can keep them focused on ball. We'll have the bonfire build tonight. There will be the bonfire on Friday night, and all that kind of stuff. So there's some opportunities to be distracted, but I've just really tried to stay consistent and talk to them about the importance of, hey, we've got a job to do. And there's nothing that caps off homecoming and makes it more special than for the football team to get out there and get a win. We know we got volleyball, we got soccer, and no disrespect to our fellow Warhawk brothers and sisters, because those games are really important, and we're off to a good start. But we know too how the responsibility that we have as a football team to get out there and fly high and play with enthusiasm and play our very best for our fans and for all of our people that are coming back and that love McMurry. So we're pumped. We're excited about it.
Vern, I want to throw a question to you. I've kind of been thinking about this. You look to your left, you look to your right, and it's senior, 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 senior. You're on an offense full of seniors, and even in the backfield, receivers, you got a lot of experienced guys, and you're kind of like the young ones, coming up and playing. So just talk about what it's like to play with a bunch of seniors on the offensive line and what you've learned so far.
I feel like it's an honor to play with seniors, considering the fact that I feel like essentially I feel like one day I can kind of fill their role and then be that senior to the young guys that are end up stepping up. But right now I see myself as one as 11, but being there with a bunch of seniors that kind of helped me throughout the way has been pretty great, honestly.
Brenden, I want to ask you too, coming over from California, your connection to McMurry was defensive coordinator John Jennings, and I'm sure you had a couple of others as well, but talk about what it's like to play for him the last 2+ years, I guess, going back to your days in community college.
I feel grateful to get a couple more years with him. We had a couple good years in JUCO. I got a ring with him. That's what convinced me to come here. I'm like, oh, I do trust him. I had one with him before, so why not go turn another program around?
Yeah.
They really did. I mean, San Diego Mesa was a program that was down, and they went in there and totally changed the culture, and a lot of that was them hanging their hat on defense, and I think they broke the world record for turnovers in the season a couple years in a row, and you've seen this guy get his hands on the ball and make some of those plays, so it's awesome to have him, even though he's from California. We don't hold that against him.
At least he got here.
Yeah, they finally made it to the promised land.
And talk about what it's been like to be part of this defense, because the turnovers are coming. The offense is doing their part, and the defense is forcing the turnovers. So talk about what that's been like and to be part of this group.
I love this defense right here. I think we're special. It's something special. We really haven't maxed out our full potential yet, but it's coming. It's coming soon. We keep improving each week.
Y'all got anything else? All right, that'll wrap it up.